All right, folks in cyberspace, at this time, we want to welcome you to Focus on Liberia. We want to first of all apologize that we were having some technical difficulty coming on, but all is well now and we are live. My name is Anthony Sie, co-hosting with Mr. Dennis Jai. Today is Wednesday special, and we have with us organizers of the All Liberian Diaspora Conference. They have a major conference coming up very soon, starting the 13th of this month, March, to the 15th in Maryland. So they are here, and we have some questions for them. What they are doing, we understand is very important. So we talk to them. As you all know, here I focus on Liberia. Our job is to educate, to elevate, and promote all things Liberia. What they are doing is about Mama Liberia. And so we thought to bring them in so that we can have that conversation. Seated, we have the man Lofa Julius. Lofa, we want to welcome you to Focus on Liberia.
I want to say thank you, Brother Anthony, and to Brother Dennis Jad as well. Thanks to both of you for giving us the opportunity to come out here today and discuss the All Liberian Diaspora Conference. It is highly appreciated, and thanks to your audience as well. Thank you.
Lofa Julius right there. Also seated as one of the organizers is Mr. Garcon D. Morweh. Mr. Morweh, welcome to Focus on Liberia.
Thank you again for providing the opportunities for us to, come on your platform and be able to educate Liberians. So thank you, Mr. Jai and Mr. Sia, and to the rest of the team that's in the background and making this platform a success, where Liberians can come and learn about issues, learn about culture, and promoting all things Liberia. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Morweh. Folks in cyberspace, as always, we can't do this without saying thank you for joining us. Please share the show so that everybody can be able to hear what these gentlemen have to say about the All Liberian Diaspora Conference. Gentlemen, now that you have this conference coming up, we are glad to have you, and we have a few questions for you. I know people listening now wondering, what is the All Liberian Diaspora Conference? What kind of organization is it?
Well, if I may, maybe followed by Lofa. But basically, the All Liberian Diaspora Conference was established in 2014. It is a registered ENI think tank organization here in the U.S. that promotes, Liberian, and trying to make sure that we can have people that will come up with research and write article, write paper, and bring like-minded Liberians together to, forecast the future of Liberia. So it is a think tank comprised of different professionals and with different expertise. And we also included a lot of organization and people of different background.
Thank you. And Lofa, if you wish to throw light, this would not be the first Liberian organization that Liberians are hearing about. And so the question is, how is this one different? More talking about, have professionals, and other organizations have had, and they came in the past and we didn't see anything.
Well, the good thing about the All Liberian Diaspora Conference, again, ALDC, is the mere fact that it's a collaborative effort that we have already started to do. As Garcon rightfully stated, this is a think tank group with people from diverse backgrounds, different professions that are coming together with one common idea as to how we can provide possible solutions to some of the problems that continue to surface in Liberia. If you look around you today, Brother Anthony, you will see that there are hundreds and hundreds of nonprofit organizations or community-based organizations in and around Liberia or in the diaspora. Now, all of them are focused on trying to, I guess, solve problems in Liberia. Now, with the ALDC is what we're doing, just an umbrella of these organizations coming together to function and hopefully be able to provide the needed solutions and resources for our people. So that makes it, I mean, a little bit, make us a lot different from the normal Liberian organizations out there that you may hear of, because again, we are bringing everybody together. It's not a select group of people, but everybody, hopefully.
Then, if I may add to that.
Yeah, quickly.
Yeah, as you can, ALDC is a collaboration of organization like experts, like we got the likes of Dr. Dobana, one of Liberian, a scientist that invented. He's a inventor. He patented a way in which you can during Ebola. I think if you know about him, his work with the FDA. In 2014, we hosted a conference in DC that brought about, the issue of jungle jabba. Like we had the U.S. the attorney, the attorney, a lot of attorneys from the U.S. Immigration Department was there, trying to prosecute those that committed atrocity in Liberia. We've been having a lot of issues that going on in Liberia, and people and members of ALDC have been at the forefront. Just recently, in 2019, September, when the fire killed, those young kids in Liberia, just recently on Monday, as a member of ALDC, we brought this first to the public attention that this is something that we're negotiating with the city of Chicago to see how we can, galvanize resources and take back to Liberia. On Monday, the city released those equipment to us, and we will be fighting to see how we can ship those equipment to Liberia. We advertised it the first time when we went to the city. The second time when we were loading it on the 54, I think about 354 containers. So these are things that we want to see how we can bring Liberians together here in the diaspora, how we can utilize our skill sets, our talent, build relationship, and be able to channel some of those resources and energy back to Liberia. So, and that's not the only thing that ALDC have been, since they embarked.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you are just joining us, welcome to our midweek edition of Focus on Liberia. Tonight we are discussing the All Liberian Diaspora Conference. We are speaking with the organizers. We want to welcome all our viewers across the globe, and we want to give a special welcome to Mr. Julius Brown, aka Lofa Julius, who is appearing on the network for the first time. Mr. Lofa Julius, once again, welcome to Focus on Liberia. We are glad to have you.
And I want to say thank you to the Focus on Liberia family. Wonderful network I've always followed, even though it's my first time actually appearing on here for your audience and the viewers. I want to say thanks to all of them as well. You guys are doing a wonderful job. Thank you.
Thank you. And when I go back to our All Liberian Diaspora Conference, we are speaking with two organizers. But make me understand, and to help our viewers, who are the organizers of this conference, and how did the concept of ALDC, or Liberian Diaspora Conference, come about?
Well, so, since after the 2017 presidential and legislative election in Liberia, the issue of Liberian, the body politic, and all of our issues that are going on have been put forth on Facebook. We have been spending many hours, discussing these issues. A lot of young Liberians from all political spectrum and all background, all walks of life, have been engaged in the issue of discussing, bringing better solution to Liberia. So through that energy, believe Octavius Gilman, through his show, he was contacted, and a lot of young Liberians were saying, "Oh, we should host a conference. And that's one of the organizers. And of course, you got myself, you have Julius, you have Mr. Moses, Steve Bowley, we have Lefty Thompson, we have Madiet, who's supposed to have been on this conference call. We had other people that were part of it that works in the background. And of course, we got Dr. Atimus Gay. We have a lot of other people that have contributed and helped, to make sure that we can be able to pay and be able to host a successful conference in Maryland this coming weekend.
So why this conference? What do you hope to accomplish?
Repeat the question. Why the conference?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of the time, growing up here in the U.S., I learned a lot at attending conferences. Conferences are a great place to network, to put faces to name, to put idea down on paper, to see how we can actually build collaboration. So the conference is beyond just sitting on Facebook. The conference is beyond just talking on the phone or calling show. The conference is beyond sitting at Task Shop in Liberia. So our goal here is to bring like-minded, to recruit, to bring actual Liberians together to actually do work. Because there are a lot of Liberians that come on Facebook. They have all the ideas. But once you present them with tasks to complete, they don't know how to do it. So you can learn some of these skill sets. You can network with people. Even if you come to the conference, if you're struggling to find a job, you need help with your resume, you need someone who can mentor you. Like all these people that you've been watching on Facebook, you need to attend conference, whether it's your personal life or in your professional life. Even in professional life, your company pay for you to attend conferences because you gain a lot of skill set and you make a lot of meaningful connection at conferences. So if you say why, that's why this conference is.
So let me go to you, Lofa.
And and just to add to what Garcon just said, kind of buttress his statement. One thing I will use myself as an example throughout my career. What I've had opportunity to do is learn from networking. Okay, and the opportunity to meet new faces, new people in the area of technology, because it's so broad. The opportunity to network with other people give you a broader perspective or help you expand your horizon. And this is what we're trying to bring. We're trying to bring a different dimension of approach to how we find solutions to the problem in Liberia. Okay, we have always had the usual nonprofit organization, free group of people who come together and want to go and solve the problem. But you know what? There is an opportunity, there's an advantage of us coming together under a bigger umbrella and networking with each other. Because believe it or not, a lot of the problem that we have is not only in Liberia. Some of the problems we have is in the diaspora here among ourselves. Okay, there's not unity among us. We are not united in some instances. There are people who need assistance with certain programs and they don't have that idea. How can they reach out there? These are some of the strategies or ways that we're putting together to give you the opportunity to come and network with other people so that you can have an idea as to how to do certain things. And some of the information that may be hidden from you, you will gain access to some of these information. So not only are we going to meet at this conference to just implement projects in Liberia, but also right here in the diaspora, we will also try to address some of the little things that we have problem with here too. So I think that's the importance of having a conference, not just for the Liberian community, but globally. It gives you that extra opportunity to network with people outside of the social or the virtual environment, which is what I believe a lot of Liberians, a lot of us, focus on the virtual networking as compared to the physical interactions that will be given to you once you attend this event.
And Garcon, let me come to you. So where are you having this event? I know the reason why I'm asking this question. Where are you having it? And explain to all the activities that will be happening from day one to the final day, just give us the picture of what will be happening during this conference.
Yeah, so the conference, I'm sorry, the hall, I have to refresh my memory and look at the flyer. I'm not a resident of Maryland, but it's in Columbia, Maryland at the, I don't know, like, some of the things that we're expecting to do. So Friday, normally, since I have been hosting conferences here in the US, we try to meet with people who are attending the conference on Friday. So basically from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., maybe 10 p.m. So we can give you adequate amount of time to be able to go home, sleep, and get ready for the next morning on Saturday. So Friday is basically meet and greet, press briefing, connecting with people who may have just be arriving from different various states or Liberia and things of that nature. And then Saturday morning we start at like 8 to 10, registrations / breakfast, and then from 10 to 4 we'll have different activities that is going on during the conferences. Basically, it will be set up like a panel discussion where we can have the audience more interactive with the with our speakers, and then also we'll be honoring some very valuable Liberians that we need to know about that have contributed a lot to Liberia while during the stay here in the U.S. or even back in Liberia. We'll be trying to we will be honoring them, and then even honoring the office of Jack Reed and Senator Dick Durbin from Illinois. These are people that have been advocating on behalf of immigration issue. And then Sunday, we intended to host like maybe like a kickbutt gathering or farewell breakfast or brunch or something like that in the park. That is still pending yet because we are not sure. We're not certain in terms of the weather. But that's was our goal. Then also on Saturday night, we'll be having like an appreciation ball where the great performance from Menem and David Mel, he was scheduled to perform, and other artists and things like that. And then people can be able to celebrate and celebrate together for hosting the conference, and then be able to read some of the resolution that was presented at the conference.
Thank you. And Julius, Garcon was just talking about there will be speakers. Who are some of the speakers, and what kind of messages should audience or the Liberian people should be hearing from them? And I also want to know, are these speakers invited? They can say whatever in their mind, or for the sake of organization, did you tell them, this is the message we want the people to hear? I mean, tell us how it's all organized.
Well, the way we have it done, we have these speakers that serve as panelists, all of these at a round table where we are discussing all of these issues. So the opportunity to discuss a variety of issues in Liberia, from healthcare to education, safety, public safety, and all of that. So all of these different panelists will have the opportunity to discuss these different topics, and then our audience will have the opportunity to engage them with questions as to how some of these things, some of the suggestions that may be preferred as to how they could get implemented.
So at the end of the section, the speaking session, would there be more like a recommendation that would be presented to any authority that can be used as a blueprint for development for something else? Is that the goal?
Definitely, that's exactly what it is. After the presentation and everything, exactly, we will compile all of the information gathered, and we will definitely reach out, like we are doing with the fire equipment. So we already reaching out to the government of Liberia and trying to negotiate with them to see how we can get those equipment shipped to Liberia. So we will just as well provide the government and other establishment in Liberia with some of these suggestions as to how we can better the society, and hoping that they will take into consideration some of these suggestions that would be presented, because we, believe it or not, there are government officials actually from Liberia that are supposed to attend this event as well. And one of them would be the representative from District Number 13, I believe, or Timers was supposed to be there. A few other speakers. Some of these guys, unfortunately, I don't know the names like that, but I think Garcon can elaborate on that a little bit more.
Yeah,
But
if
yeah, we will
I
have
may come in.
delegates from the government.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, some of the speakers that are expected to be at the conference. So we have the likes of Patrick Burrows, Leo Johnson, Dr. Doba Yan. We have Elijah Nayon, Mr. Patrick Wuto, Representative Edward Flomo. I just got off the phone with him yesterday. Maurice Sakal. We have Samuel Jackson. We had Jackie Saye, I think, and then Mr. Franklin Wiset. Then from the young perspective, we have the likes of Joel Wilson. We have Dr. Lisa Cooper. Can you hear
me? Yeah, Garcon. So I know the list, but what are some of the specific problems that this gathering is trying to address, and how were these speakers chosen to address those specific issues?
Okay, some of the issues that we will be looking at, the issue of out-of-country voting. There's something that we want to do. The electoral system, the reform in Liberia, good governance. These are the Liberian aspect of it. So we have, of course, Liberia want to promote good healthcare, want to promote education, job for youth, mental health, illness. So a lot of these people have backgrounds within these perspective area. We also want to look at the community aspect. How is it that the diaspora community can be empowered? So you're looking at the JUF, the Jewish United Fund. How can we follow their concept? Because, a lot of the time, like you rightfully stated, there are a lot of Liberian organizations. I commend that. We all need to organize and empower ourselves. So we should never frown saying, there are too many organizations. We all just need to learn how to collaborate and see how we can work on things that we all share similar value and missions on. But the issue of setting up the Liberian community here in the diaspora, similar to the JUF, that's something that we need to talk about. How can we create a fund that if a Liberian were to get in trouble or getting deported, that got some type of immigration or legal issue, who are the voice of Liberian? Who can go and be able to, who can they call? How can we create that type of system? These are things some of the ULA have been trying to work on, other community organizations have been trying to work on. How can we enhance those things? So we invited a lot of Liberian organizations, a lot of community organizations, a lot of tribal organizations. How is it that you are running your community? How can we help? How can Julia, who is good in IT, how can he help your organization strive? How Garcon, who may be able to write you a business plan, how can he help your organization strive? So we want to make sure that these messages, like the issue of the Civil War Memorial, these are projects we want to do in Liberia. Like how can we create a fund system in the U.S. that will raise money to try to help some of the projects we want to undertake in Liberia, like sending the fire equipment to the first responder equipment to Liberia. So how were the speakers? How were they selected? Speakers we reached out to speakers. They were asked to send their bio. Based on their bio, the expertise and things like that, we were able to put them in different category of different grouping that will be able to sit on stage and be able to interact with the audience. So if you saw some of our flyer, we have a CFO on there. Her name is Kara. She works out of one of the a major hospital in Maryland. How can we gain her knowledge to see, hey, Liberia have a lot of failing healthcare system. What is it that you're doing at these hospitals that you manage? How can we implement some of these strategies in Liberia? So these are recommendations that will be given to the Liberian government.
I've been I've seen some of these all Liberian diaspora conferences before.
Yes.
And I remember in 2005 there was one organized with Dr. James Tiatape. Some of the organizers were like Mary Bro, I think she was the treasurer, Maria Kappa, and all this. So we have had a series of all Liberian diaspora conferences. First of all, I want to know where that name comes from, whether, and two, what's different about this one? Couldn't you also partner with those that have been doing it before? What is different about this that that was not done before? I think we have had four. Even last year we had one on dual citizenship and the rest of it. What's different? Julius, if you can help.
Well, if I may come in for Julius, to me, I think I commend all those people that hosted the conferences. A lot of the time people ask these questions, and it's a right question. However, we need to be asking ourselves why, when those conferences took place, why something didn't happen. We trying to bring a different approach to it. Okay, they did it like this, it did not work. Okay, how can we all do it? So sometimes we need leadership change. We need new ideas, innovative ideas to come to the table. How can we form a working solution to whatever they did? How can we build on it in the past and going forward for the future? So I think the fact that it was held in 2005, 2009, 19, all those are good things. Okay, so now what next? What can we do? How can we put actionable steps in place to try to either build on what they did, and how can we try to move it forward? So I think that is our concept going forward. We invited many organizations. We invited organizations from Canada, Europe, like I stated earlier, a lot of tribal community organization. How can we bring them to the table?
Did you try to ask those who did it before? I think you have maybe 5 of those all Liberian conferences. In Liberia, they say you sit on the old mat to plant the new one. What did you learn from those? Did you talk to them to see why if you think they fail, why they fail, and what you can do differently now?
Yeah, I won't classify as what they did as failing, because if they fail, I think we as Liberians have to blame it on ourselves. Because as you rightfully stated, I mean, we don't attend these conferences. I hosted free conferences in the USA for over 6 years, free in popular Liberian state. We don't attend them. We don't provide financial support. So there's a lot of circumstances that make conferences and the results. And some of the idea that we using it today was for this conference, the topic, the issue of out of country voting. It's nothing new. These are old ideas that we're just trying to see how we can push forward. This other organization may be doing it. This other organization so whoever is doing it, we on the same agenda. So yes, we did reach out to a lot of old work and look at what some people, some Liberians who have been great through community leadership have been doing, and we're trying to see how we can take it forward.
Thank you. Julius, let me come to you. Mobilizing the necessary resources, money will be your engine of success if you want to sustain this thing. Garcon talked earlier about the equipment that you were able to secure from Chicago. That is huge. I watched the video. I read a front page article that posts the value at about $8 million. And I think that is significant. That is very, very impressive. Is that one of the ways you're going to be mobilizing resources to help people in Liberia? If it is yes, then what are other ways? What are other ways that you intend to raise money to get the organization going to make it sustainable?
Well, that is one of many ways, but the conference, that is just one of the idea way of fundraiser. Okay, inviting people to come to some of these fundraisers, going out there and actually asking for what I don't want to more, let's say, investors, but hopefully the support line from even Liberians around the diaspora. There are Liberians out there who are willing to participate in some of these things as long that they can have some tangibles, if they can see what the worth of their money, where the money is going at. That is the major concern for a lot of people. And sponsors out there, I'm pretty sure, for a country like Liberia, would not want to turn it back on providing the needed support once their money that is being invested is, they can see that the money is actually being used for the intended purpose and not the status quo or the typical thing that is done around with a lot of Liberian establishment and organizations.
And a follow up here, at the conference, will you be raising money at the conference? I know some conferences they do ticket sale. You have to pay for your ticket to enter. Then there are other means of raising funds, like a competition or something. What are other measures or strategies you're using to raise funds at the conference?
We will definitely, we have tickets sales that is going on right now, eventbrite.com, where people can actually go and purchase their ticket. Mm-hmm. Another way that people can actually contribute towards this event is, we will give people the opportunity to make donations. I know we kind of talked about it and laughed about it in our last meeting, that we don't want to have too many pledges. We try to stay away from this too many pledges, but we will try to encourage. We'll have other fun activities where people can use to make contributions. And then
just to add to that,
right?
We going beyond just the normal way of doing business. We would be more aggressive in trying to get those equipment to Liberia, and also trying to build the Civil War Memorial in Liberia. Some of these strategies that we put in place, these are old tactics. We just have to be more effective in doing it. Reaching out to all the Black churches, selling the story of Liberia. It will be sad that we as Liberian, with the rich history we have with that of the African Americans here in the U.S., Ghana can able to do the return, and then our brains, as young as we are, we came in this country, we learned. Why is it that we are not selling the story of Liberia? So we will sell the story of Liberia to see how we can reach out to churches, reach out to different grouping, and see how they can contribute to the effort of building a Civil War Memorial in Liberia. We think building that center in Liberia will be something that will make family whole. Because a lot of family are still bleeding, and they need a place to go remember their loved one. Today is Decoration Day in Liberia. I was watching some of the clips. You should see where some of our Liberians are buried, and then imagine where the ones that were killed during the war. So these are some of our strategy in terms of raising funds. We'll do some mass fundraising efforts. At the conference, we'll have envelopes on the table. The goal here is to make sure we ship those equipment to Liberia as soon as possible. We have a April deadline date to ship those equipment to Liberia, because I've been to Liberia, and the way the congestion in Liberia, there's a great need for first responders equipment in Liberia. There's a great need, because the moment of fire erupt in Liberia, terrible things will happen. We were talking with the fire chiefs here in Chicago on Monday, and they're willing to go to Liberia to help train people. They want to make this a regional thing. Liberia will be the center where we can train people to respond to these any type of fire, whether it's a war, like some type of disaster. Firefighter come out for everything. So we want to make sure that we can reach out to any one of the major NGOs to see how they can fund some of those projects that we're trying to do. And we need all of the Liberians, the MBA, the accountants. Everybody is welcome to be a part of, the All Liberian Diaspora Conference, the think tank. Once you're a part of it, let's come up with the strategy. Let's come up with all the innovative thinking to put all hands on deck. So whether we have 10,000 organizations, let's try to recruit the best and build a professional database of Liberians that we can make recommendations to Liberia based on their expertise. They need to be in position because they are Liberian and they qualify, because majority of Africa, the brains of Africa are here in the diaspora. Why is it that we're not taking those resources back home to Liberia? Any resources? I think we need to be more aggressive. So we're calling, even you, Mr. Ja, anybody that's watching, come on board. Be a member of All Liberian Diaspora Conference. It's not about you being president, secretary, all these things. And that's what I have learned in the past. Having all these titles is what destroys organization. You can be that. You can be a project director. You can be this. Can you produce results? So these are things that we want to bring to the table, a new way of trying to build an effective Liberian organization here in the diaspora. Thank you.
Okay, guys. You have started this at a time that our politics is very polarized, as you can see. Most of the time, even no matter how you try to be, you are branded as either opposition or pro-government. What are you doing to keep these things free of polarization, free of politics? I know you can't avoid politics, but what are you doing to convince people that this is not political? What you are trying to do, and for the right reason, which as I said, I've watched some of these all Liberian conferences before, one of which I think the former defense minister, Mr. Brownie Samukai, they were presenting all the brilliant plans as to how they want to see Liberia move forward. Later on, some of those people, for good reasons, they ended up with good jobs in the government, and that's, nothing wrong with that. If you have the expertise, you should. Well, what are you trying to do to keep this free from the polarization we see on the political scene?
If I may, it's always going to be politics. However, we have to put Liberia first. As I was loading those things on Monday, I called some people who are actively working in the government. Hey, it's not about you and your government. It's about Liberians. It's about making sure that we protect a nice life. So whether we hosting this conference and whatever project we're trying to do, at the end of the day, we have to put Liberia first. So it's always going to be political differences and people. To me, I believe I constructively criticize the government. If they're right, I would say they're right. If they're wrong, I would say they're wrong. I'm not going to, it can be my father in the government. If he's doing wrong, I will let him know. So I think we always have to be constructive in criticism. And why it is true that we criticize a lot, there are a lot of people that criticize a lot, but then when they give them the opportunity to do something, they cannot do it. And that's a lot of these people that are on Facebook. I can point a lot of them out that they'll come on Facebook, they have all the best idea on how to run government and how to run this and how to run that. But yet when given the opportunity to even run a small group, they cannot do that. So we always going to have political differences in things that we do, but we begging the government of Liberia, please do not, put curse on us for trying to provide you, fire equipment, for trying to collaborate with different cities, not just the city of Chicago, any other cities, any Liberians. Like during Ebola, we airlifted a container load of food from Illinois to Liberia. When Liberians were struggling with Ebola, these are things that we trying to engage in. How can we put Liberian name on the table at any of these major organizations or city corporation that are giving things to poor countries or developing countries? So these are things that we're willing to do. And when we do them and contact somebody that works in the government, they'll be open. We're not trying to take a position. We're not trying. We want to make sure that Liberia is at a stage where when we come to Liberia, we can be able to not fly back to America for healthcare or not fly back to America for basic things. We can be able to have those right in Liberia. So that's one of my passions, and those are things that I want to do. In terms of, I know it's always going to be politics, but at the end of the day, Liberia is first.
But let's fix it. Let's fix it.
Lofa, before you add, Dennis, you're on mute. You want to come and go in?
No,
Dennis, remove yourself on mute now.
You put me on mute. I did put.
You stay on mute.
All right. Yeah? So Lofa, let's fix it. There are some of us or some of you who are very vocal politically, and just by seeing you being part of something, they will either brand it as opposition or pro-government. We are not trying to ask any one of you to change yourself, but how are you going to resist that? How are you going to fight that to convince people that hey, you may have seen Lofa Julius saying XYZ, but Lofa Julius in all Liberian Diaspora Conference is a pure humanitarian or someone who's for all Liberian, is not on this side or that side.
Well, I mean, Brother John.
And Lofa, let me share this. In since the next song about we're going live, in that song they asked a question. What his name said? Lofa Julius, I don't know if he's a humanitarian or politician. You go, so tell us.
I mean, and I'm glad that I can leave people in that little vacuum to give me the opportunity, to show or prove myself as to whether I'm a humanitarian or I'm a politician. But in reality, the truth is, I started even getting involved in some of these national discussion after the 2017 elections, and with the idea that I just want a solution. I want a solution, and in order for me to find a solution to a problem, I have to actually dig out the cause of the problem. And if I want to play it safe and don't address it that way, then in reality, it's not going to happen. You will never find the solution. Let's look at a typical example. Today, if you can take a statistics of those working in the government, can you look at them and say, it's all citizens who voted for President Weah and all newbies that are in the government today? No, there were recircled politicians who currently work for the government. What was the idea behind bringing some of these recircled politicians back to work for the government? Either because they believed that they had a skill set or the professional experience, the background to accomplish what is needed. So when you hear me being critical of the government, that's just of being able to look at it and be realistic about it. It's almost like a child. You cannot spare the rod and spoil the child. In as much as we love Liberia, we want Liberia to succeed, we want the government to succeed, but when we see ills in society, we have to be genuine and legitimate to ourselves to say, look, man, this is not how it should work. Some of us grew up in the Western world, we grew up in advanced countries, we see how things happen. We are beneficiaries of how system works. So why is it that we should remain so selfish and see that our people who depend on us to implement some of these systems and have it to work for them, we cannot do it for them? That I just think that should not be the case. We should do the best we can to make sure that we can hold our government officials accountable, and we can also work with them to make sure that they're successful at what they're doing. So to answer the question, I think that would give other people the opportunity to continue to think as to what I do, because I personally, and that's part of the reason why I was even invited to be a part of this, the planning committee, because I run a nonprofit organization, the Hope for Kids Foundation, okay, in Liberia. I go out there at least once a year. Unfortunately, this year I wasn't fortunate to go back there, but I go out there and carry on and we can here and there. Also work with them. Register 501c3 organization that is established in the United States of America. So with that said, I think I'm just all about a better country where all of us can one day be proud of and celebrate the success and progress. But at this point in time, when we can see that we are not progressing, instead we are regressing, I think it's upon all of us to put on that judgmental hat and hold everybody who's in the line of fire accountable for their actions.
Thank you. Again, folks in cyberspace, you are watching Focus on Liberia. It's our Wednesday edition, it's Wednesday special. And with us are two organizers of the All Liberian Diaspora Conference, that's the ALDC. And we are discussing things that the organization are involved with. They have planned a conference that is to be held in Maryland from the 13th to the 15th of March. And so we brought them in for them to explain to all the work that they are doing. Julius, Garcon talk about a memorial. I listened to one of your colleagues, Otavia Gilman, also talking about a memorial. It's like a building. He had a picture of it and showing it all around to people. How did you get to that? how did you come to the realization that you need a building to represent all those that got killed during the war? How you came up with the design? Or is this something you say, oh, let's use this so they'll know that we're serious?
Well, actually, that is not the case.
Okay.
It is the case with the memorial, the memorial center. And the picture you see presented to us over there is an idea presentation of what we wish to implement in or have in Liberia. That is because we looked at it from a broader scope. A memorial center that is just, you just put up a memorial or a block or bricks of names on the wall. Yeah, it benefits people to the point where people will say, okay, those are my family members, the names are on there, we appreciate it. But there's more that we can do in this era. We are thinking innovatively. We have to think beyond. We have to go beyond the extra mile. So having that building where we can have other things in as part of that building can also serve as a means of employment and as a means of even being able to create that avenue where we are helping some of our less fortunate brothers in Liberia who are now referred to as Zogos. I think we can also actually have to help to rehabilitate them and bring them back into society. So we are looking at it. That picture you see there, I hope that everybody else who Octavius have gone to with this picture or this graph will look at it as well as from a bigger perspective and see how best we can implement that. There should be no limitation to what you want to do. And to everybody on here tonight, let me say this. When you limit yourself, you remain to where you are. But if you cannot limit yourself, you continue to persevere. You continue to go for it. You present yourself as a go-getter. You will always try. It's more than likely that you will succeed at doing what you want to do. And this is the reason why me and everyone else on the team have challenged ourselves to say, this is a goal that we can present, and this is a goal that we can work tirelessly for and be able to accomplish it. Because you know what? It's bigger than any other Liberian community or organization have been able to try to do. But you know what? Just because it's that big does not necessarily mean it cannot be done. It can be done, and it will be done by Liberians who believe that there should be a memorial and there should be something presentable for all of us Liberians to be proud of.
So,
thank you.
All right.
And then just to add to that.
Hold on, Garcon. Let me give you this question, and then you can add to that. We have the call list is just getting longer and longer. I look at your scope, and I just think it's just massive. But you can explain about that. But going into this conference, what will you determine as successful? What are some of the success criteria that you've set?
Well, I mean, success is relative. My success would be having like-minded Liberians who are interested in moving the country forward and being able to gather and see how we can not just sit around and criticize and coming to the table and finding solution. So if I can have 25 Liberians in that can think like me and Julius and Steve and Octavius and Dr. Gay, and if I can have 25 Liberians that say, yes, let's do this. Let's write over 1 million letters to churches to see how we can build this in Liberia. Let's contact these people. That's all. That will be a success story for me. Those fire service equipment, us taking them from Chicago Fire Department, loading them on a container, ready to ship to Liberia. That's success for me. So success is relative in terms of conferences. So again, we cannot be as successful as Liberians do not support what we intend to do. Like, for example, when we first learned about the fire equipment, we wanted to ship it right after the conference. We started raising funds. Guess how much we raised for that so far? Only $500. And I think when we showcased on Friday, and I think it was another $250 that was donated on Octavius Gilman platform. Thank God to him. But Liberians what are we prioritizing here in the U.S.? Like, are we making things that are not in the foreseeable future that won't benefit our family, our grandchildren, or are we benefiting, like supporting temporary things? So hopefully, like in terms of successes with us gathering funds, do we need to go out of the Liberian community to raise money? We prepare to do that if we need to take these and build those center in Liberia. And just to add to what Julius was saying about the Memorial Center, we need to teach Liberians history. We need to remember what happened. We need to tell our grandchildren, our children that war is not good. We need to put pictures in that, video in there, how Liberia was, how many people died, what war can do, what tribalism, what all these things can cause in Liberia. So we need a memorial center, just like you go to the Holocaust Museum, you go to the African American Museum, you go there, you remember how over 8 million African was shipped to Germany. We remember those things. We need to teach Liberia history.
Garcon, what do you say to people who will say you are trying to do too much, maybe biting off more than what you can chew?
I would ask them, why aren't they trying to do too much?
Answer. We have our callers. If you want to join us,
why aren't you trying to do too much?
No, in terms of biting off more than what you can chew.
Well, I don't take it as what we're doing. I mean, like for example, like the memorial idea. I think, like I said, these are things that other organizations have talked about. We mentioned this in 2014, the Civil War Memorial at the All Liberian Diaspora Conference, again in Washington D.C. Due to lack of funding and support and things like that, that did not happen. So should we leave that idea behind and die? No, we have to think, what do we need to do this time differently? So if it don't work this time, we also need to breathe until it can happen. So we have to be very persistent in things that we want to do in Liberia. Like for example, like the issue of I'm not gonna go into that, but I'm gonna stop right.
Yeah, let leave it there for now. Let's go to our phone lines.
Let's bring our phone lines, and the first caller here is Octavius Gilman. Octavius, you are live.
Yeah, how you doing, man?
Excellent. Go ahead, you live.
Yeah. First of all, let me say thanks to FOL crew. I do appreciate and you guys having and us on your platform. On the bottom of how we want to say thank you to you guys, and to my two brothers out there, Lofa and Garcon. I want to say thank you very much for taking up your time to explain to the Liberian people exactly why we are doing this and why we're going to succeed. Regardless of the difficulty or who think or who not think, but I want to say thank you to both of y'all. You guys are doing excellent work. I don't want to take your time. There are a lot of people calling and the line. I appreciate everything. I pray for all those who are on the way. This was not an easy task, but I thank God to people like Levy Thompson, Mighty Morweh, Moses, Garcon Moore, and Ultima and Lofa. For kind of joining this particular team to make this a great, that we are in this for our country. I want to say thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Gilman. Let's bring in our next caller. Caller Christopher Tobasi, you are live.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Jai and our brother in studio there, Sarah, I think if I'm right. I'm a little bit disappointed, because this could be seen as still hypocrisy, it is laughable. I believe you guys have secretly been following a couple of shows, and these ideas are not new. You guys been watching Prince Sharif, Placid D, and even Gibson Jeru show. So these ideas are not new. This is what I mean by y'all being this is pure hypocrisy. On the one hand, Octavia Gilman have been teaching our children how to hate. Otibio Diomen has been destroying the fabric of the country. He has been teaching hate. And Garcon Morweh has not even one day stopped his buddy, Otibio Diomen, from doing that. You know, now you are coming back to the Liberian people after dancing and piling on with the opposition, after eating with the opposition. You are coming now to sell this beautiful idea to us. You are coming now to say, look, forgive us, you know, because perception can change, you know, or reality can change. So now come and work with us. I think you guys will have a difficult time, but the ideas are brilliant. This is what we've been advocating for many years. This is what we have been encouraging our people to do. You know, but y'all follow the opposition block, and now you're quickly turning around now because you're being succeed over there. And
Christopher,
with this brilliant idea.
Christopher,
Brilliant idea.
Christopher,
Idea.
Christopher.
Yeah.
If an opposition person is coming to give you a fire truck to pull off your fire, what's wrong with that?
I'm saying that they should have done that before. They were supposed to read between the lines ever since. All right, but this is a brilliant idea, Honorable Ja. It's a good thing, but they will have a difficult time selling it to the Liberian public. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, thank you. If it's a good idea, why don't you have them sell it?
I said because of their bad ideas for supporting the opposition. Somebody like Otibio Diomen who have been feeling hate, who have been telling Liberians to hate each other, coming back now to tell us that he got to first of all apologize and say he was wrong, and then he can sell his brilliant idea to us, and then the public will buy it.
Thank you.
Otibio Diomen has to apologize first, and Garcon Morweh owe us apology, including Lofa Julius. They have supported people like Henry Costa, people like Yeka Koluba, people like Zara Dillon, all these people. And now you're coming to sell this brilliant idea to us. You see how we're going to take it.
Thank you, Chris. Guys, I think you have a mouthful, so let you respond before we go to our next caller.
And gentlemen, before you come in, at least the brother acknowledged that the ideas that you are communicating here are all brilliant. So maybe you should take that pass and let's move on with our questioning, you know, before we get into politics here.
We're going to apologize to Christopher Tobasi. Hopefully he live in the DC era. You know, these are fairly new names in the Liberian political discourse. I don't know Christopher Tobasi until probably seeing them on Facebook. These are Liberians that having been part of a major Liberian organization. So I don't know what is it that he has done, you know, to criticize some of our work, you know. So, but we apologize to you. We have always been critics of wrongdoing in the Liberian body politics, from Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, if you do wrong, we criticize you. Me, I'm on record for that. That doesn't mean I dislike the president, George Weah, and people he's appointing. I have a lot of friends and my daddy friends and people who are in his government, you know. So there's nothing that we do in this country that you should take it as we opposition and disposition. I don't know who is Christopher Tobasi on. He fairly new. So tell him we're sorry and we hope to see him to come to the table. Besides commenting on Facebook and sharing hallelujah posts, let him bring ideas to the table.
Thank you. You said you didn't know him, but it looked like you know a little more about him.
No, I say yeah. These are fairly new names. These are fairly new names.
Okay,
I traveled across the U.S. with Liberian organization. I have never heard about the name Christopher Tobasi.
Let's go to our next caller, and that's Steve Bole. Steve, you are live.
Thank you, Mr. Ja. Thanks to Focus on Liberia for the invite. As always, I like to thank the Liberian people because they're the most important people. Everything we're discussing.
Can you speak a little louder?
Everything we're discussing here is concerning the Liberian people, and so the Liberian people are more important than any other group of people or any person. Also, the Liberian women are the most beautiful women, Mr. Ja. You can attest to that. That's why you married a Liberian woman, and Mr. Anthony here married a Liberian woman as well. That is a fact that cannot be debated. But let's get to the issue here. I want to start off by thanking my brothers tonight for representing ALDC to convey the message to the Liberian people and to tell them that we are not only about the talking, but we are also about the walking as well and doing what is right for Liberia. let me say something here to two questions that you guys asked, just to add up to the brilliant articulations of my brothers. One of the first things I wanted to say is, I like the saying from Barack Obama. I always like to quote him that we can walk and chew gum at the same time. Let me say to the brother Christopher Tobasi that was on, I personally don't know him, but he's a Liberian, and I think he's important as well, and his view is important, and his questions were very important as well. But let me say this to him. If he thinks everyone will sing hallelujah, that is not true. Some of us, we are in the opposition. We will remain in the opposition. We will criticize this government as part when they do wrong, as part of our ability to be able to hold the government accountable. But we will also look down the aisle where we can provide solutions constructively in the essence of providing, coming up with some of these brilliant ideas of the conference and so forth, as a means to let the government know that, yes, we are open-minded to work with them to do what is right for the Liberian people. The Liberian people are bigger than any government, the Julius-led government, the Ellen Johnson government, and any other government that will come. So let's be clear on that. This is nothing against anybody. This is not personal, but we want to let our brother know that we will not shut up. We'll continue to say the right thing where it needs to be said. And if the government does wrong, we'll point it out for some of us. But at the same time, we'll work to do the right thing. Another thing I wanted to say is, in regards to the memorial question that you guys keep asking, I'm listening, and the funding. These are very good questions, and I believe Focus on Liberia is also interested in what we have decided as a group to come up with to help the Liberian people. I want to send an open challenge to Focus on Liberia to make a donation. You see, these things must start. Charity begins at home. I want to challenge Focus on Liberia and every organization they have in the United States to start making donations to some of these important ideas, some of these brilliant ideas. So I challenge Focus on Liberia openly to make a donation, either before the program ends or by the end of this program. So I'm sending this out to Focus on Liberia as a challenge to every Liberian here. Maybe you might say, oh, I didn't know about it. I really didn't know about it. But, I think it's a brilliant idea. What I would say to you is you can reach out to either one of us to make a donation. Anything will help. Anything will help. The equipment, the other things that you will see coming through to help our Liberian people. These are ways that even if you are in the opposition, you can speak, you can send out a message, your voice can be heard to contribute. It will go a long way. So we are asking every Liberian, this is not an ALP thing, ANC or whatever political group in Liberia. This is a Liberia thing. Let us do this. And also I want to remind Liberian people that it is important for us to prioritize Liberia. Thank you so much, and we are following, and thanks to my brothers again for representing. God bless. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Dad, Mr. Jai, you are on mute. I have a caller who was having difficult time getting through that, so the caller called me. Let me allow the caller quickly.
Okay.
Yeah, Julius. All right. Caller, your name and where you're joining us from. Quickly to the issue.
All
right, Mr. Tippesing, go ahead.
We can hear him. We can hear him.
Can you hear him? The guys in studio say they can't hear you. Is it better now, gentlemen? Go ahead, Tippesing. Let's see. Let's try one more time. Guys, can you hear him? All right, they say yes, so go ahead.
come together, let us support the idea, let us share the idea, and move forward with the idea. So, brothers, I want to say thank you, guys. My only question, I just joined the show not too long. I decided to participate. So, if you were to just recap some of the guests you are expecting at the end of your presentation, it will really be good. But trust me, by the grace of God, we're going to be there. We know that coronavirus is around, but we're going to take all of the precautionary measures and make sure that we be there and remain safe. We'll do the hand buzzing and not the normal shaking hands. So,
all right,
brothers, I just want to say my respect, and we are following.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. All right, we can take the overseas call, Mr. John.
Go ahead, Alex, you are live.
How you doing? Y'all okay? Am I good?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, so let me start first of all to say that I'm presently located in Sano County. That is one of the 15 counties of Liberia. I live in Monrovia. I run an organization called Youth for Change. Garcon, I think he and I have spoken on this show before. And I'm currently touring the 15 counties of Liberia. I'm running a program called the Liberian National Debate Championship, a platform that is designed to allow young people to talk about issues that affect their country and provide solution to the very things that affect their lives. So doing that affords me the opportunity to travel across the length and breadth of this country. I started in Bassa, spent 1 week in Grand Bassa, had the opportunity not only just talk to students, but to talk to retired people, to talk to villagers who in the village. I had the time to sit, roast cassava, and eat cassava, eat palm nut, and got to tell you to the length that I've come. I'm currently signing when I left Grand Bassa. I came River Cess. I left River Cess. We spent 1 week in River Cess. We conducted the debate. We are now in Sano County where we're spending additional 1 week, and we crossed over to Grand Crew, crossed over to River Jew, crossed over to Grand Chile, Maryland, Nimba, just name it. I'm going back in Monrovia in May, the end of May. Why am I saying this to you? I like the idea. And one of the things that I've been able to learn from this trip is I've been able to know that the main reason, the main problem of having this country is two. One, the decision makers are disconnected with the people. They pretend to know what the issues are, but they have no idea what the issues are. They are completely disconnected. Second thing also, our problem continue and remain that our own development as a country is equally tied to the quality of leadership this country has produced. But if it is, then it means that who are the ones who electing these people? The electors. Then they come back to a point, the reason why we have this problem is the electors are not informed. They have no idea whatsoever what it requires to elect a leader. To the point where National Elections Commission, when elections is coming in this country, the only thing they tell us, the electors, is don't bust the busting eyeball when you go vote, and don't cross X. That has been the history of this country. The electors of this country, they are so uncivilized, so they don't even have no idea, and they need more than that kind of education. So it comes back to where we need to have a civic education. I'm just saying this to tell you that our country, our problem in this country is at a higher level. So this program you're having, I listen to most of the speakers you're having. I think two names sounds very familiar. That is Dr. Chris. I think he's been here 1 or 2 times, the medical doctor. And Julius, who also was in Liberia, is very guy who was more familiar with what's going on in this country. But I just to end on this note that our problem remains that policymakers, decision makers, people who are making decisions for this country are disconnected. They pretend to know the issues of this country. They have no idea whatsoever. And that is one of the reasons, and you're going to have a conference where you are inviting specialists, some of whom have probably stayed in America for many years. I've never been to this country. I just started my foundation that I'm in the county. I spend 1 week here, I will go across the country. I'm developing a whole proposal about the issues that affect our people. I want to bring it to Monrovia. I will share with policymakers. So I'm concluding on this note that whatever decision, whatever ideas you will formulate next time is important. I like a grassroots participation. The grassroots participation will inform the kinds of decisions you're making, and it will affect the country positively. Other than that, we'll sit down, and I like what the jar asked you how many times you've been having this thing over and over and again. But there's no grassroots participation because policy is vary from country to country and affect the people. If the decisions are not directly proportional to the needs of the people, that thing you're doing there is nothing.
Thank you.
So I like to commend you, but I also like to say next time go one step further, get a grassroots participation, invite the people, not the one who will talk on the talk show every morning, not the one who will take Facebook and then let's talk about crap. It doesn't make sense. Let us ask the real solution to the lasting problem of our country. And it's important. So thank you very much. I hope next time you guys can, open up more, get more of the people who are doing the work here in Africa, especially Liberia, who go across the country, who are sitting and listening to the views of the people, who knows exactly what the issues are. Even to the point where you have a finance minister or before finance minister who is disconnected with the people, but yet he sits to preside over formulating of budget.
Thank you.
In their offices and formulate budget, but disconnected with the people who the budget is supposed to affect.
Thank you, Alex, and I'm happy that you are in my county. So take care now.
Yeah.
If possible, reach Dodwick if you can walk.
Yeah, and there's a guy in the U.S. there. His name is Julius. He's an author, and he wrote this book on Liberian history about diplomacy. I just tagged in a post. He's in the States. He's launching his book in the U.S. I think it's in Philly or somewhere there. I'm hoping that John Yomi have invited me. I'm hoping he can attend the book. I'm hoping the organizer can tune in the meeting too as well. It's a very enterprising young man.
Alex, you can connect with Garcon or me offline, and we can take it from there. Thank you so much, and we appreciate your work.
Thank you.
And Garcon, I asked you the question. The speakers you were taking. I think. One of those you're getting from Liberia is a politician. He's a representative. So to Alex's point, who are the people from the community that you are talking to, especially from Liberia?
Well, here's the thing. Like I said, young Liberians in Liberia know me and know my organization and know what, as an organization, what we have done. We try. I mean, Anthony can attest to it. We have, the conference, All Liberian Diaspora Conference. We wanted to bring government officials to the table, and we wanted to bring decision makers to the table. We were very strategic on who we invited to the conference. There's a tendency of you sending Liberians invitation to attend conferences. Many of them don't, when they do come to the conference, they do not attend the conference. Ask Alex, he can ask about the organization called YEL, Young Innovative Leaders of Liberia. We hosted several conferences. A lot of elected officials brought young people that did not attend. Some young people came that went to another state. So at times it's very distasteful to invite our brothers and sisters from Liberia to attend these conferences, because at the end of the day, I understand the struggle. Maybe if I was in their position too, I probably would do the same thing. But when I invite you to a conference, we want you to attend a conference. So we did reach out to some people in Liberia to invite, to have them attend a conference. And
go back to our line. Mr. Sia, do you have a caller that you unmuted?
No.
Okay. Caller 59472, you are live. Your name and where you calling from?
My name is Cyrus Swan, and I'm calling from Iowa.
Can you speak a little louder?
Gentlemen, I'm calling from the state of Iowa.
What's your name?
My name is Cyrus Swan.
Go ahead, your question or comment. There are a lot of callers, so we have 1 minute.
All right. I want to say thanks to the gentleman in the Lofa and Garcon. and the other guy is failure. But I have one question, and before I go to that question, I want to say, messenger is important. You can have the brilliant message on this planet, but the person who's carrying the message is very important. So a guy like Octavia, Lofa, Julius, these guys on Facebook Live, many of our children, our women, our mothers, our sisters, listen to these guys, verbally. With all, we can disagree and agree. We can have political differences. But these guys verbally abuse a president that millions of Liberians elected. I'm not saying just throwing political jargon. These guys call you stupid or brainwash Petra Octavia. So my question is, how some of us who really have desire to participate in these kind of let's say endeavors to helping our country, how some of us can even look at guys like Octavia, who insult a president that is stupid. I mean, how can we be power? How can we call other people to be power? It's very concerning. Messenger is important. So like the previous caller said, the first thing these guys need to do is to go on the various talk shows to actually have a whole show dedicated to apologize for their languages that they used in the past. They might have a different view now.
Thank you.
They might evolve now. Yes.
We got your point. Thank you. Let me give Lofa Julius a chance to respond then, for a minute, and then we go to our caller.
Again, thanks, Brother John, for the opportunity again. I listened to a lot of emotions tonight. And let me be straight up front and honest with you. I could challenge all of the callers who were calling here tonight, claiming that words were used. Not a single one of them can say Lofa ever insulted President Weah. Yep, I have criticized this government. I'm very, very critical of this government. And the truth remains that I will remain critical of this government because it is my government. Okay, I hire these individuals to work for me. So it is upon me to checkmate them, make sure that they are working adequately. I have a very, very close friend of mine, who actually right now in Liberia, who is a member of the CDC, and he's a member of this government. All right, I volunteer my service to him. He's actually opening up a computer school, and I volunteer my service to him that when I go to Liberia, I would teach. Hopefully, a couple of weeks in some of his classes to teach with them. But I have criticized him every time if I see the need to criticize anything in his government. And even this morning, he and I just got off the line. We were talking about it. He's, we had not spoken for a few weeks, and he's like, because you criticize my government all the time, so you just ignore me. These things are, again, I guess the mentality that our people have that is politics should be all about animosity. That is not the case. Politics is not about animosity. If I criticize you, come to the table, bring something tangible to defend it. Don't come at a table with all of these people. Look, the idea here is to provide solutions. Whether you feel as a Liberian, you want to remain a patriot and you want to be a part of it, we will welcome it. If you don't feel like you want to be a part of it because of your political ambition or your political affiliation, then so be it. Those who believe in the idea of patriotism, we will encourage all of us to join us and be a part of this effort to make sure that we can implement all of the good ideas that they claim is good. You claim the idea is good, but then you would not join to be a part of the process to implement that. But then you are asking for ideas of other people to join you to make the government. Who do you think will be those ideas or those people to come and make the government a better place? It will be the same Liberian. So let us get out of this idea of creating animosity among ourselves, the hate, and learning not to be. We are so intolerant at times. I think we need to get away from that.
Thank you, Lofa. Let me bring in another caller. 8740.
If I may add to that before the caller come in. I know the brother that just left, I forgot his name. If you feel like we hurt you for criticizing a public official, not we per se, I think I have criticized them. I have on many occasions in terms of how the country is being ran. I mean, those are things that will always come throughout his presidency. We all did it during Ellen Johnson. We did it during Charles Taylor. Even in the great United States that we live in, people criticize Trump. People criticize Obama. You know, they call him monkey. They did all type of things to him. Is it right? It's up to you. But what we're saying here tonight is we're not trying to make this about the Liberian government. As we rightfully stated at first, we'll work in collaboration with the Liberian government. If they take our idea that we presented, we will commend them for that. If they help support the fire service equipment that we have sitting in Chicago that needs to be shipped to Liberia, we will commend them for that. We will like their cooperation. We have to look past this. People will always criticize government. Our political system in Liberia is so immature. Public official, when you decide to put your business or your life public, people are always going to have opinions. We have to learn that in government. Thank you.
So if you can, we have a lot of callers. If you can keep your answer, jot down so we can take a couple of them. Just write down what they're saying so you can respond later on. Let me start with caller 8740. You are live. Caller, your last 4 digits, 8740.
Hello. This is Julius calling from Lincoln, Nebraska.
Julius, welcome to Focus on Liberia. Your question or comment? 1 minute.
I just want to buttress the previous caller.
Okay.
It seems to be the Garcon is not getting the message that people trying to send to them. People believe that Liberia should, leave the stage where she found herself now, and do better in the future. And that can only be done collectively. I employ the idea they brought up. That's a good idea. I spoke to Gilman a few weeks ago. I told him I will not be part of the conference. However, for everything that was going to be discussed or that will be discussed, any fund, any solicitation of funds that will come out will be able to contribute. Without the knowledge that the like of Julius and other people that I see as opposition are the organizer of such, conference. If you hold a political view, we agree it's not about criticizing the current government. Your criticism is one-sided. You preach selective justice. But now you're calling us.
Julius, be brief.
Liberians. It's like somebody in Liberia calling somebody a Zogo. And in the time of election, they want a Zogo vote. That's how it works to me.
Thank you, Julius. I want to address this so that we don't repeat the same thing. They are not really asking for, it's not like they are asking for vote. They are asking to help. So regardless if they are even...
I'm not saying they are asking for vote.
Right.
I'm just using an illustration here.
No, Julius, so what is it that you are looking for so that you support this exercise? An apology or what?
The fellow in studio, Mr. Lofa, Julius, and Garcon, the guys are staying the stage to apologize to people.
Okay. Thank you.
You cannot still defend your political ambition. People see you to be an opposition. You sat down with Alexander Cummings and other oppositions. So you have to make things clear. You have to apologize, sir.
Thank you.
Simple.
Thank you.
Issue simple apologies to the Liberian people.
Thank you, Julius. Let's go to the next caller.
Without that, I like I said previously, I didn't know that these people were the organizer of such conference. So I was going to contribute.
Okay, what we're going to do, Julius, is we're going to give your number to our panelists so that you guys can talk offline. I know all your concerns about their political leaning is important to you, so it's something that they can talk to you offline and see what we can do from there. Okay?
What I see in the whole thing is this is opposition trying to solicit funds to have a ground standing financially.
That's a crime in the U.S. if you do that. But let me take another caller. Thank you so.
I understand that, but people do that.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your contribution. And guys, I will give you the number. You talk to these guys offline. Their concerns are genuine. Okay. Let me go to our next caller. Tavina Cole. Tavina, I see that you are. Tavina, go ahead.
Okay, questions and comments. I'll be very quick. My comment here, I've listened to the gentleman on their, noble idea. I like the idea of the mural and all of that. I want to say thank you. There's specifically two guys on the project that I have so much respect for, Julius and Moses. So I know you guys are bound to succeed. But what I want to say here, I listen, and I'm not speaking from opposition or no position. I stand for good governance and I stand for what is right. I'm not with no party, will never be with any party. But I listened to the other gentleman there, Garcon, I maybe called his name wrong. His tone of voice, his language, the choice of words, and what's coming across, it's very arrogant, it's very condescending. He's coming and saying okay, these people don't know how to do this. They've never done it in the past. We're here to do it. I can do it right in Norway. That's what coming across. So he needs to tune down the rhetoric. And it's almost like a sales pitch. Even if you have all the talent, you have all the money, you're selling your idea to people. So you need to tune it down. There's a time to fight and there's a time to be mellow. So you need to tune it down tonight. It is just not right for somebody who's trying to sell an idea. You can say, well, we don't need your money. We don't need your Liberian people to do it all. By the end of the day, you still need all of us. So that's just my suggestion. I'm not going to go there with the whole CDC politics and all of that. But so my question, that was my question here. It's comment question, actually. It's a question. So my question here is about the coronavirus. We all know it is it's wide and it's spreading so wide and everything's shutting down, including major events. But I see you guys are going ahead this weekend to do this thing or next weekend, whatever it is. I want to know if you guys are not concerned about the outbreak, especially where CDC and WHO have said, do away from large groups, stay away, work from home, and all those things. Are you guys not concerned about public health? And also, what process? Tell us about your safety plans. Should in case some outbreak, occur, something of that nature, because it could possibly happen because you're gathering people for 3 days and you don't even know what they're carrying around. So it's concerning to me. So I'd like for you to speak to that.
Hello, how you guys doing? Mr. Julius, how you doing? So all I wanted to talk about today, the idea is good. We welcome that idea. And Mr. Jazz keep referring the studio guests to the other conferences that were held, like the one with Bernice Kamuka, the one with Morweh Bro. You guys need to distinguish your political opinion from this thing that you try to do. It's a good idea. Sedition will keep calling and say, why you criticize the government? The issue is why the show that you guys talk on social media against government. There's nothing wrong. Absolutely nothing wrong with criticizing Liberian government or want to do for Liberia. So they should get that clear. If government do the right thing, we will praise government. If they do the wrong thing, the criticism will continue. You guys owe nobody apology. What you're talking about is for Liberia. Then another thing I want to talk about is that I want to know whether your panel will be discussing the issue of war crime code. That's one thing you guys need to check down and let us know whether you guys will discuss a war crime code. 2, Thomas Johnson is not a good speaker. I would suggest that you guys get him off the list because he's a recycled politician. He has the opportunity to serve his country. He did nothing. All he did, he served in the interest of his family and his friends who are in power at the time.
My man, we sit down on the old mat to plant the new mat. Leave my papa alone.
Mr. Jah, you refer out to Bernie Samika. You said these conferences were held before, like 2005. I listened to you, Keeney, and you're very right. These people come with these kind of brilliant ideas. They had the opportunity to serve their country and they misuse and abuse this opportunity. Another thing I want us to talk about is that Liberia has resources. How can this organization be able to make Liberian government use the resources of Liberia to be able to work in the interest of the Liberian people, then for us to continue to build credit of Chicago and all the stuff? Why we accept against Chicago, but it is also true that our resources can be able to do a lot of stuff for us in Liberia if those resources are managed well. So the DJ should not come there and say nobody criticizes Georgia. We will criticize him, period.
Thank you. Let me go to Keseli Double. Mr. Keseli Double and panelists, please jot down the points. We have so many callers. Keseli, your turn.
Yes, sir. Yeah, thanks very much, Mr. Jah and CA. And also thanks to your panelists in studio. And first of all, I want to tell them that they owe no one any apology. Your political view, let's say, for example, a father stole from me and I call him a criminal. And I have the means of helping his children. Should the children refuse it because their father stole from me and I call him a criminal? If a government is a criminal and they are treating our people bad, we will tell them what we're supposed to tell them. Does that mean that we're going to help the people? I mean, the fair people should refuse? I said, no. These guys said what they said. It was their political view. They are entitled to it. They owe no one any apology. Any Liberian who want to come on board to help the Liberian people back home, you are welcome. If you don't want to come, you want to sleep with the government because the government is criminal and we are calling them criminal every day, it is up to you. All right? And another thing I want to say to them is that, we have so many people coming up with almost the same idea. So many different Liberian groups coming up with the same idea. Is there any way that everyone else can put aside our political differences and see how then we can merge some of these organizations so that when we are, maybe starting to do something, it can look very huge. Let's take, for example, how Emmanuel service in Liberia recently with the welcome coach. I don't know as to whether you guys are going to be addressing that. We also have the COP who have been having the government seat on fire. Is there any way we can have some give and take, like you give some things or I give some things, and then let's come on one idea so that we can make this thing to look like all Liberian things instead of all doing it one separate. It's just a question I have to ask. Hello, Mr. Jah.
Yes, sir.
To focus on Liberia, I want you to please do me a favor. Okay. Not just me, but Liberian people. Can you please discuss CB Hospital so that we can see afterwards how best we can be able to help with the condition we're facing right now? Please.
Look, discuss what? I didn't get you.
The Phoebe Hospital.
Phoebe Hospital.
So how we can be able to help them.
Okay, yeah. Let's discuss that offline. And but that's what we are here to do. And any idea we will work on that. Let me get the next caller.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. 8960-267 area code.
Hello. Mr. Dennis, how you guys doing today?
Excellent. You sound like Rose Joy.
Oh, this is Rose Joy. You know.
Rose.
This is Rose Joy. Foundation for Innovative Change, the CEO and president, serving now. So I just want to say thank you to Focus on Liberia for all the good work in reaching out to the Liberian people.
Thank you, Rose.
And I also want to say thanks for the brilliant idea that this new group, I don't know if they're new or they're old, but I have a question and also I have a couple of things to say. First, my question would be to this new group that we had ULI been around before my mom or whoever was even born. These people hold
master, PhD. They walk around. There's a very big organization, and they have done nothing for the Liberian people. You understand me? They sit there, the whole degree. They
You can say that,
meetings,
Rose.
they talk about what they have, what they don't have, and nobody cares about that. You know. So what makes you guys different from this big, gigantic organization, EULA, that you guys think you can make a difference in Liberia? What are some of your things that you guys came up with that you learned that EULA has, and you guys have a difference from this? What are some of the things, you know, some of those concrete things that you guys went to EULA and you guys studied that what EULA has done so many years, that haven't make a difference in Liberia, that now you guys going to make a difference in Liberia? That's my question. The
Thank
big
you,
question.
Thank you.
But I want to talk to the two representatives of the organization. First of all, if you want to be a server to a nation, you have to distinguish yourself. You have to be selfless. You have to tell yourself, go in the closet, tell yourself, today I'm going to be a server. I'm going to represent an entire nation. There's nothing, I'm connected to nobody. That's the first thing you guys need to do. You know, I learned my lesson. I went to Liberia. I had what I had to do. And one thing I would say to you guys, you want to go into the people country, and the people that is leading the country, you cannot be enemy to them. There's no way. Nothing gonna work. You know, if you want to help the entire country, you have to go into the country and go to the baseline, the foundation. You cannot go to small people, oh my man, there's small group, oh my man, there's small community. No. Then things not gonna get better like it's supposed to be. You know. So, you know, I hear all the other callers saying you guys have to apologize. It's nothing to apologize, because you know into yourself, your apologies gonna save thousands of people. And what is it by apologies that you cannot apologize to Liberian people when you are willing and you're ready and you told yourself that you're going to give your life to Liberian people? You understand me? So again, about the other guy mentioned about the support from Liberian people. But I think you say you better put on your hat though, because I ran a campaign called Dollar Campaign. The Liberian people couldn't even give me $1. Or even when they were giving me the dollar, they had to curse me out to even give me $1. You understand me? I had to cook in my house and sell in order to raise money to go to Liberia, take out 2 months of my time from my family and go and work in Liberia. So I wish you guys luck. And the All Conference, they have all the time, nothing come out of it. And I wish you guys that something come out of this one. Because sure and holy, we are tired of gathering all day with master degrees and PhD holders, and they don't do nothing. So there's my contribution to this platform.
Thank you. And Rose, you went over our minute, but that's okay. Let me take our last caller, and then we go to our panelists. Caller from 7361, you are live.
How you doing, Mr. John?
Excellent.
And I want to say good evening, good afternoon to the two gentlemen in the studio, Lofa, Julius, and Garcon. I have a
what's your name?
My name is Cummings, Joel Cummings.
Oh, they are out of positive change.
Agent of positive change.
How you doing?
Oh, okay. Oh, Mr. All right. Welcome, sir, to Focus on Liberia. Go ahead, you're live.
Thank you. I have a concern, then I will ask this question, then I leave, not to hold the line for others. Every time I listen to Gilman, he talk about erecting a monument to memorialize our brothers and sisters that died. And I hear this over and over and over, but there's something that caught my attention when you talk about building a memorial center. And Gilman talk about this monument. And sometimes I try to ask him this question as to whether he's familiar with the TRC recommendation, or have you read the document? Maybe the document is huge, so you can't read it in its totality. But there's a portion in that document that called for called on the government to build something to memorialize the people that died. If you go back to the poverty reduction strategy paper, a document that was introduced by Madam Salih, you'll also find that recommendation in the poverty reduction strategy policy. So my question to you guys is this: are you guys in support of the TRC recommendation? Since indeed you're calling for a memorial center to be built, and it's enshrined in that document, do you subscribe to the TRC final recommendation of a document that was submitted to the government of Liberia and the legislators?
Thank you, Mr. Cummings, for bringing that up. And why are you reinventing the wheel if it's already there? But let me take my final caller, and then we're going to be closing the phone lines. And the last 4 digits, 8270. Thank you, Mr. Cummings, again.
Hey, gentlemen, this is Garcon. How you guys doing?
Please, your name again?
My name is Gus Palmer.
Gus, welcome to Focus on Liberia. Your question or comment?
Well, I've got a few comments, and but first of all, I want to go ahead and commend you guys for taking the time to solicitate the things that you are doing to see Liberia better. I've often said to most of the guys on here, and even the brother that was on the last caller, who I've known since his arrival in the United States. We used to be on radio like he, I, and a bunch of other people. But the Liberian situation is very interesting. We seem to be very lost. We don't seem to know what we want. We envy one another. We think disagreement is the end of the world. And I've often told many people, I'm so glad that I left Liberia and went to high school in this country and went to college in this country, because it opened some of our eyes. It opened the perspective of disagreeing and still being able to exist. We fought a war based on just those same sentiments. As a matter of fact, we didn't even disagree in many cases. We literally just heard certain things and said these people didn't like us, and we went and killed them. Okay? Most of the guys on here know I support the CDC government, but like most of them here too, I'm the first to criticize them if I need to. I'm not as vocal as many of these people. I have constantly done the same thing you guys are trying to do. And it so happened that the things that I do is actually supported by non-Liberians. And we have been very successful. Take medical doctors and nurses to Liberia. We've gone about 3 times now. We will be going to July again. We have medical students on our scholarship that we pay right now $10 a day, US. And this is our 3rd year with these guys, and they're going to school. But why I'm saying some of these things is this. Liberians, we need to graduate from the sentiment of what can I get. If it was the case, many of us would have died in Liberia. These people, these taxpayers in this country they didn't know who you were, or had no interest in you. But through the goodness of their heart and also their humanity made them believe that, you know what, there's a country that's bleeding. We have to find a way to help some of these people. And that's how most of us found ourselves here. So I don't want you guys that are on here doing these things to dwell on these people that come out here and tell you they're not going to support because you criticize the government or you call somebody name. Don't worry about them. First of all, you don't need them. There are other people out there that just need to hear the story. And when those people hear the story, they will be able to help. You're not doing it for these people. You're doing it for Liberia. The time that you have taken out to do those things, somebody listened to you in that Chicago Fire Department and was able to donate some of these things to you guys. So when you come on these shows, you don't have to make everybody happy. Just make sure you're doing the right thing. And in the end, I think your success will show, and these same people will sit back and which they were able to help and be a part of something.
Thank you,
Instead
guys.
of donating money for protests, for this, for that, for all those other things. These are things that we should be putting our money towards to save our people. Like somebody rightfully said on one of the other callers. So if your house is burning, actually I think it was you, the host. If your house is burning and there's a fire truck coming from the guy that was cussing you, you going to tell him to go back? No, you won't. So I'm just wanted to call and commend you guys, but also just shed some light on the Liberian community and why we are where we are today. Thank you.
Thank you. Back to you, Mr. CA, so that our guests can get our questions now.
Mr. Jah, thank you. And what I wanted to say, the caller just sell it. So I would not say anything other than to allow our panelists to respond to the many questions and concerns that have been put out there by the callers. Let's start with you, Garcon.
Actually, I wanted to address.
Thank you. We are glad that we have so many Liberians listening. The very few that call in, we appreciate your time for even listening to us. Yeah, while it is true that some of the things and the way we respond to your question, you may not like it. If we hurt your feelings or if I did, I'm sorry. Just looking at some of the questions. So for one, the issue of EULA. You know, a lot of people always refer to EULA. I support EULA and what they do. I believe that all Liberians, if we support a EULA for what it stands for and what they're trying to do, I think the organization will be a great organization. I think we will step up to leadership if we feel like they're not doing what we expect them to do, and we will change leadership. I think if EULA can raise more money than many of our tribal organizations, I think they will be able to do a lot of great things. I understand EULA is a brand. Many of us may or may not like it. What are we doing about it? I know there was a lady that asked a question, how are we different? What do we bring to the table? There are a lot of PhDs. So basically, I don't know what she was insinuating that degrees means nothing. I don't know what she meant by that question. I'm saying it to say that, you know, we tend to criticize a lot of our Liberian-based organizations. We do not step up to leadership. We do not bring ideas to the table. At the point of time, I was serving as on a Gay-led administration. I was serving as EULA Youth Wing chair, you know, through my organization Yelp, and I try to bring a lot of young people to the table so we can bring our ideas to the table for EULA leadership. But a lot of our young people are interested in soccer. They're interested in parties. They're in the Liberian community. They don't criticize. They don't attend meetings. They don't pay dues. They go and get all the PhD. They work at great jobs. They don't support Liberian organization. EULA is an umbrella organization, and they get energy from local chapters. The local chapters are the Liberian community organization. If you sit in Georgia, you don't help Lama, or I'm sitting in Chicago, I don't help the Liberian community in Chicago, or in Iowa, I don't do that. How do you expect EULA to function if your local Liberian organization at home is not striving? So what do we bring to the table? I mean, we're young, we're innovative, we are connecting, we're building relationships. We even would love to work with EULA. You know, we love to work with any Liberian organization that have similar idea. EULA have talked about some of these things before. So I'll stop on that EULA question. How can we merge similar groups? at the end of the day, I think we need all hands on deck. We're not trying to stop other Liberians from functioning as a group. We all live in different states, different cities, different towns. This country is big. Yes, there is a need for us to collaborate. If you're working on bringing about out-of-country voting, if that's something we're talking about, we want to help to see how we can do it. We want to connect you to people who can do it. So that's something we can collaborate on projects. We can collaborate on ideas. We're not trying to take away any organizations, because a lot of organizations do different things. The issue of war crime court, yes, is part of our concept document. It's something that we want in Liberia. We support that. We even sent a letter to Mr. Emmanuel Savage. And Emmanuel Savage is not the first person to talk about war crime court, but we commend his effort. I think that we're just changing the language. I think the TRC calls for a court that will. So I think we do support that. We sent a lot of people, and some of our concept documents, some of the topic that we will talk on, we do call for. It's one of our topic on our agenda to talk about. The issue of the coronavirus, the virus. Are we concerned about it? Yes, we've been following the news in Maryland closely. We just learned that one of the city mayor there issued an alert informing people that if you're hosting over 1,000 plus more, they don't recommend you hosting an event. Our event, if we have 1,000, will be great. I don't think we're up to that scale. However, we do have measure in place. We do have a medical trained nurses part of our team that will help implement these measures at the conference. So yes, we do have. We are concerned about it. I mean, it's an outbreak that's going on in every city, affecting the way in which we work, how we eat, where we eat, and how we move in public. So it is a massive concern in the U.S. So those are my responses to that. I think my brother Lofa can respond to some, and he can respond to the one that he told me that he wanted to respond to. Go ahead, Lofa.
Again, let me say thanks to all of our callers who chose to contribute today. Whether you felt the need for us to extend apology to the government of the Republic of Liberia, or whether you don't see reason for us to extend apology. I just want to remind all of you that at the end of the day, your passport bears a Liberian. I don't know if you're naturalized or not, but my passport says the same thing. Our bloodline has the connection that says we are Liberians. So I think it is about time that we all start to focus on how we can progress as compared to us focusing on how much more we will continue to regress. With that said, I want to address Mr. Cummins' question about the TRC report. I know he inquired as to whether Mr. Gilman had done his part to read through the Truth and Reconciliation recommendation. Yes, I have done my part. I read through it, and the reason why a lot of time, even on my podcast, you will see that I play a lot of the clips from the war, and I support the establishment of the War and Economic Crimes Court. But here is the dilemma to that. With the implementation of the War and Economic Crimes Court, there are a lot of stages to the entire process, and we are only at the stage where we will consider the implementation of the recommendation. All right. So when the idea of those who bear in heart, those who have been hurt, say, look, we feel the need to come together and build a memorial center, even if that idea is still in the tunnel and it decided to get implemented, that is fun. If the fund is available to have it implemented, that's fun. That can still go to the government of the Republic of Liberia. We don't. If we already have a memorial center, or if we have one that is built in whichever part of Liberia, whether it's in Monrovia or it's in Lofa County, where I'm from, of course, we can still have another one. So that way people from Lofa County don't have to drive all the way to Monrovia to see that memorial center or benefit from what we can have in there. So I don't think the idea of having multiple memorial center is anything bad. So I think we should encourage or embrace the idea. And listening to my sister Rose. Rose, let me just take this opportunity to thank you. We spoke about your work in Liberia, and you continue to do a great job. I want to commend you because you're also in I guess the service of providing first response, and I really appreciate you. But what set us apart from other organizations, like you rightfully mentioned, who have had PhD, master's degrees and everything, is the desire to succeed. Okay, the innovative mindset, young people coming together. Our parents, like I always say on my podcast, our parents partially failed us because the things that should have been done systematically, they ignore. They did not apply the needed force so that we can have this system in place. And it was everybody about themselves. It wasn't about the building of a community that is structured systematically. It was all me, myself, and I. And if my son can benefit from this, that is what I'm going to focus on. But this group of people coming together, we are coming from a diverse background, and we are saying our focus here is not going to be on our differences. Okay, we will focus on what can we do to benefit the masses in Liberia. Octavius Gilman and I have not agreed politically on anything. All right, my brother and myself, Garcon, who and myself sit right here, would not agree on anything, almost anything. Steve, who and I also work together. Steve is a member of the ANC. I'm not a member of any political party, and I have no political affiliation in Liberia. So when I hear people calling me opposition at one time, and opposition referring to me as a sedition, and people even asking as to whether I'm a humanitarian or I'm a politician, that puts me in a position where I'm afloat, and I feel like, you know what? I think I'm getting some attentions here, and I think people should definitely come to the table and forget about what individual differences and put Liberia first, because that should be your primary concern. Your kids will want to go to Liberia one day. Your parents will want to go to Liberia one day. So that's just I think that's just all I wanted to address. I think Garcon actually spoke to all of the questions that were posed. And again, let me just reiterate to my brothers who believe that we need to apologize. I personally don't feel like I owe anybody any apology for disagreeing with my government that I hired to do work for me, and I believe they're going contrary to what I expect them to do. I owe nobody apology. And just the same thing goes to all of the other politicians out there who continue to do it. One thing somebody said here, and I want to erect the needed checkpoint. The other gentleman came out here and said people sponsor protests in Liberia. I provided assistance for the World Economic Crime Court protest. Other than that protest, if anybody can come up and say Lofa contributed towards this protest, I will shut my mouth and never participate in any national discussion, but focus on how I can benefit the lives of other people. I've had people attack me personally for speaking out against the last We Are Step Down campaign when I came out openly and said, I personally, due to the nomenclature of that protest, I oppose anything, and I needed nothing to do with that protest. And of course, at the end of the day, I think my decision was right, and I made a rational one because the nomenclature of that protest actually got edited before they went to have it implemented. So I don't think I feel like there's no reason why I should have to apologize. I just remain steady focused on implementing and hopefully find a solution to the cries of my people.
All right, folks in cyberspace, this is Focus on Liberia. Here we educate, we elevate, and we promote all things Liberia. And today we are doing a show to promote the work of an organization called the All Liberian Diaspora Conference. They are having a major conference in Maryland from the 13th of this month to the 15th. Gentlemen, my final question to you will be, how can you guarantee that this conference being talked about by Lofa Julius on his platform, Otavia Gaveman, your flyers are everywhere, will not be a funeral for the All Liberian Diaspora Conference?
If I may add to that, Lofa.
You go ahead. You can go ahead. I would love to chime in on that later too, though. But you go ahead.
Well, I wouldn't. The conference, I know a lot of people are praying, like some of our fellow Liberians on here. They think the conference is anti-government, opposition hosting conference to raise money. It would things that we're a part of. We try not, our best. In business, if a project is not working, yes, you can revamp, so you should never be afraid to fail in life. Things may not work, a relationship, a marriage, school, work. Don't be afraid of fail. So if that were to happen, if it is, I can guarantee you that it will last forever. Even you yourself cannot live forever. So yes, but we will do our best to keep bringing great ideas to the table and keep collaborating with Liberians and keep making sure that the lives of Liberians back home are on the table of our leaders. That's something that we guarantee we're going to keep doing as an organization, as people who are part of this organization. I think since we started, we have held series of conferences. So this is not the first conference. We started in 2014. We held series of conferences here in Chicago, Illinois. Like I said, we helped send tons, loads of food to Liberia. It was airlifted through our effort, our network here in Chicago. And yet again, before the conference, we just received a major donation, that will also be shipped to Liberia that will help with first responders. So if the idea of the concept of All Liberian Diaspora Conference is not working, we'll revisit the table and we'll see how we can re-strategize. So we can't guarantee you that as humanly possible, we cannot, but we will keep working. We'll need people like you on the table. We'll need all Liberians, like we said. We creating a think tank. We need expert. We need people that know how to. When we say expert, you don't necessarily need to have a PhD, to be part of the All Liberian Conference. If you can bring ideas to the table, if you can collaborate, if you're a business owner, you're an expert within your field of whatever you're doing, let's meet at the conference. Let's share ideas. Let's network. Let's see what is it that you can do, and we can pair you up with a group of people that will be non-talkers, and we can see how we can put this effort together.
I have two questions as my last. Number one, after you tear down the hall, you pack all the chairs, and you return to Chicago, and Lofa go or speak a series somewhere else. What next? What should we expect? And then my second question is, the Liberian Musical Award, or LEA, one of the biggest Liberian gatherings, is also going on at the same time you are having this conference.
Yes.
Is it a coincidence or clash, or what is it that things were not planned for Liberians who want to attend both to be able to do so?
I mean, it was unfortunate. We tried our very best not to, because we know some of the organizer, the Tigers, and they have supported things work I have been a part of. So we wasn't trying to clash with what they're doing. We actually wanted the conference to be held on the 28th, but the hall was unavailable at that time. We were promoting it for that date, and that date wasn't available. So once we tried to book the 28th, and this was the only day that was available in March. And honestly, we did not look at their agenda to see when. So these are some of the ideas we can bring to the table to see how we can sync, Liberians organization, that are hosting event or major organization like the LEA, how can we create like a calendar of events for our national organization? That way, if we hosting a national program, we all can try not to clash, because there are a lot of young Liberians who are our friends, some of our speakers' children that would love to attend those events. We would like them to come to our conference too. But nevertheless, I think it is not a threat. I think we can attend both events. The LEA is mainly an evening program and then followed by an after party. I have been there several times, and I think we are holding our conference during the day from 10 a.m. to like 4. And I know a lot of people tend to go there, for the after party and things of that nature. But I think it'll be a great thing to have a lot of Liberians in the same city at the same time. We're targeting a different audience. So I think that's a very unique thing also. So I don't know if Julius would like to add to it. He can't.
Um.
Oh, what was it? I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So what next is basically reinforcing our strategy. First of all, we have to get those equipment to Liberia. Those fire equipment to Liberia is very needed in Liberia. So we're gonna make recommendation and work with the city of the fire department and how we can create programs, training programs to try to help Liberians, train them how to utilize that those equipment in Liberia, because some of those are very foreign to Liberia. And we identify our project where if it is the building of the Civil War Memorial, if that's something that we're undertaking, we will see how we can come back to the drawing board. Our goal is to try to create a diaspora fund so we can have 100 Liberians donate to that fund. How is it that we can try to empower the Liberian community here? The issue of trying to make sure that Liberians have a voice legally. If Liberians are here, they need help with like resume, need help with different things, applying for school. Where do we need to go? So we need to come to the table to see how we can build that community of empower Liberian organizer, to see how we can help Liberian organization. And then, so building up the Civil War Memorial, that's something we'll decide on at the conference at our resolution, and we will decide the next step moving forward. But the first number one thing that we need to do is ship those fire equipment to Liberia.
Let me bring on Levy Thompson. Levy, you are live.
I'm sorry. Hello, guys. Thank you all for doing such a wonderful job. And I just wanted to come in because I saw some questions that were being posted. And as a nurse, I followed the WHO and the CDC on the coronavirus. I was the one who brought it to the panel attention about what was happening in the DC metro area. Coronavirus is a virus that has been around for a long time. This is the new strand that is in operation now, and it's form of a flu. And what it is that we tell everybody, I work in a hospital, so we tell everybody, cover your mouth, wash your hands, use the hand sanitizer, and your hand sanitizer has to be 60% or more of alcohol content. Okay, so we understand that we have the Lysol wipes that you can wipe the surfaces that you have, or you could use any kind of wipes, the Clorox wipes and stuff. The virus is not airborne, but you can get it if somebody coughs in your face if you're at 3 feet from that person. So most people do not stand. 3 feet is like if you're almost kissing the person. So most people do not stand at close proximity to others. So we have to get that right. The virus lives on surfaces. Now, it lives on the clothes for about 8 hours. It lives on something like a metal for 48 hours. So you want things that if you have a metal and somebody have a cold, that's why we said wash your hands, be careful of your surroundings. If anybody around you is coughing or sneezing or something like that, you want to be either able to give that person something to cover their mouth or to be able to not only protect themselves but also to protect you, the person. Now, most of the time when you see people wearing the mask is not for you to protect yourself from the person sneezing in your face. The mask is to help you protect yourself from touching your face. Why? Is because when you touch a surface that you don't know whether it was clean or not, most times the first thing that we do, our face scratches, or we go to our mouths, we go to our eyes and stuff like that, and it's a contact virus. So I understand a person was there and she said she's a nurse. Yes, we do have schools that are going online, like we have in California. We have one of the UC systems right now, online classes. And we have some other schools, but my daughter still go to school. So I ask people, are you more afraid when you go to the supermarket because you're touching things that other people touch? Or are you more afraid when you're in a confined environment where that environment is already, people are doing what they have to do in that environment? So we have taken measures for this conference. We will have hand sanitizer. We will wash things down. We do have Lysol sprays and stuff like that because people are very, making this thing sound like it's doomsday. So we cannot scare people. We have to be careful how we talk about things. And what I want us to do is just research. The scientists, everybody, the researchers, all of us are trying to find ways to see how best we can, curb this thing, preventive. And I will leave. But then another thing is why this conference and why this organization is so important to us and to me. It's because Liberia for the last 24 years or 40 years have been in what is known as an emergency mode. And when this conference was brought to my attention, this is a way that with the little we can do, whether it's 10% or 15% or 20%, we can put it in that preventive mode. And so one of the preventive modes that we are taking right now is like what we have doing with the fire trucks and the fire things, regalia that we're trying to send home. Okay? These are preventive modes. How can we come back and say, how can we go and teach the people in Liberia about health? That's prevention. That's preventive mode. So this is all more education. How can we in the diaspora, we're talking about voting rights and we're talking about voting. How can we, the people who have the technology mind, how can they get together to say, well, how can we vote? How can we change our voting? How can we get to our constituents? How can we get to the electorates in Liberia? How can they vote? Because we do not have a good voting system right now. These are preventive modes that we're going to be in because we're always in an emergency mode. And Liberia has been in that emergency mode. So I just wanted to tell them that this is why this conference is so important.
Thank you. Thank you, Larry.
I was thinking about, the negative. Let us just for once come and say yes. There is a if, there is a must, there is a, always a why. And my grandmother always used to say the why in the why always would have the longest tail because we always asking why.
Thank you, Larry.
The way that we can get together and say how instead of why. How can we get this done? How can we do this? And we will go back to John F. Kennedy quote that I love so much, not what your country can do for you, but for the I want to thank you, Dennis. I want to thank you, Anthony. I wanted to be on this today, but I'm at work, as you can see, so I was not able to be on your platform. But I just thank the young men that were on there today, and I hope everybody can really hear me. Okay, and I thank you, Dennis.
Thank you so much. Somebody thought I was trying to stop you, so they say, let my auntie speak, please. So thank you so much. All right. Okay. Let me go back to the panel.
So, gentlemen, you have answered our question. We are glad that we have so many callers also who had questions for you. Some of them, some critique for you as well. And now what we're going to do is we are almost at the close of the broadcast. This entire program conference will be on the 13th to the 15th. So in your closing, we will ask you to speak to our audience, the people you want to attend, when is it, why they should be there, and all that, so that they can be informed. Mr. Jai, if you don't have anything to say, then we can allow them to close. All right, Lofa, let's start with you. Lofa, right. Okay, good.
Sorry about that. All right. And again, folks, I will start off by saying to Mr. Ja, Mr. Dennis, I think you corrected
Mr. Ja, you got it right first, Mr. Ja.
The first time, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry for the two first names. Please consider me. And Brother Anthony, it was wonderful being out here, and the fact that you were able to avail your platform to us to come out here and discuss national issues and hopeful possible solution to some of the problems we have. And to everybody who called in today, if you felt some sort of weight, if they had anything to do with a personal disagreement with me, void of anything national disagreement on political issues or anything of that nature, I want to take this time to apologize to you if you felt personally that I offended you outside of political disagreement. I apologize to you. We're all Liberians. We should learn to live together. We should learn to unite and do things in the interest of our country. Last night, I was sharing a podcast that had a lot of African American, the Black Hammer, okay, the Black Hammer, and I didn't even know it was the podcast somebody shared with me, and the local branch in North Carolina over here. Young people, all just African Americans and other people coming together. They sat on the Zoom platform and they were discussing some of the issues that are concerning to them, and they were offering ideas how they can address those things. And I hope that we as Liberians can see or find reason to do the same thing. We all would never agree, but let us set that room where we can all work together in the common interest of Mama Liberia. That should be our key focus at this point. Sierra Leone is moving ahead of us. Nigeria is moving ahead of us. Ghana is moving ahead of us. Those people are not smarter than us, okay? They're not stronger than us, but it's simply because we cannot unite, or we see reason to continue to play the crab mentality where if it's not you, then it's not happening. I'm going to pull you down no matter what the situation is. I'm going to pull you down because I'm not the one on the top of the food chain. I think we need to find a reason to stop that mentality. We should all work together and work for Mama Liberia. That's the only thing I can say here tonight. So everybody who called on here, whether you disagree with me or you agree with me, I want to say thank you. Folks, come to this All Liberian Diaspora Conference if you can. We will appreciate it. But remember that every dime that you invest to this conference could help save the life of one of our own in Liberia, whether it is through medical supplies or through the fire service equipment that will be shipped to Liberia. We want to guarantee you that we are here. And the All Liberian Diaspora Conference, this think tank group that you hear of today, that people are criticizing and asking, why are we not going back to those who started or initiated some of these ideas? we want to say that's the reason why we open up to everybody. It's not just few group of people. As if you feel you have the strength in a specific aspect of things, come. We encourage you, please, by all means. Even yourself, Mr. Job, please come and be a part of it, and to you too, Brother Anthony. Well, I expect you to be a part of it, matter of fact, in the forefront of this entire process, because we could definitely use you as one of those to help us push this establishment forward. So thank you all for being here, and to Sis Lefty, thanks for calling in. Brother Octavius, thanks for calling in to buttress some of our comments and concerns. So I think I will end up here for now. And to everybody who support the FOL, the Focus on Liberia platform, you guys are wonderful people. Continue to support this program. It's not an easy thing to get up every day and come to sit on a platform and present to audience and having different topic, having an idea of what you're talking. It's not an easy thing, because I have tried to do it and I know what it takes to be committed to doing these things. And I see you guys come out here almost every day and present some topic that is important to Mama Liberia. So thank you all for doing it, and continue to do what you're doing. Your reward is not here, but in heaven.
Thank you.
Thank you. I wish I can get my reward now, because no one has come from heaven to confirm what's in heaven. But my Bible told me it's there, so I believe it.
And that's the reason why I say your reward is in heaven, because I'm not guaranteed as to whether you're going to make it there.
And I believe it. Garcon.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Jad. Thank you, Mr. Sia. To all the Liberians that may have clicked right on our show today, we want to thank you for giving us the audience. We invite you to attend the conference. The conference is located in Columbia, Maryland. The address is 5440 Old Talker Road. It's ROW. It's called the Caller Hall, from 10 a.m. To 4 p.m. on Saturday. If you're in the area, please attend. The theme for our conference is the roadmap to the diaspora community empowerment while promoting good governance and participatory engagement in the diaspora and homeland. So this is a conference that will set the pathway to see how we can collaborate and how we can create a roadmap in creating a stronger Liberian overall community. Whether you're part of your tribal group, what is it that you need to be doing? So we want to thank you all for all the comments, all the feedback that was given tonight. We will take it to the team. We will take them into consideration. At the end of the day, we all have one common denominator, and that is Liberia. Whether we dislike the current president or whoever disliked them, who cursed them, we asking you guys to come to the table and let's see how we can find a solution to that. If your recommendation is for us not to insult the president, okay, what is it that we need to be doing? We need to come to the table. We need action. We as Liberian have been organizing in this conference. In this country, we got more Liberian organizations than we have Nigerians. How can we use the energy of those organizations to engage with our city council, like a Black organization? If it's the European organization, how can we collaborate with them? How can we channel resources back to Liberia? These are things that I'm interested in, and these are things that you should be interested in. So thank you, and we look forward to having you guys at the conference. If you need any information on the conference, please call this number or text 810-333-3955 or 602-367-5881. Please contact them and let us see how we can collaborate. So thank you all for your time. You will be seeing us again. We have more stuff in the making. We'll be announcing it as we go along. Thank you.
You didn't mention any money if they have to pay to attend.
Garcon, Morweh, thank you, Mr. Lofa, Julius. Again, folks in cyberspace, we also want to say thank you for joining us here on our Wednesday special. We have with us organizers of the All Liberian Diaspora Conference talking about their organization, what they're doing, what they plan to do in the future, and about their conference that is coming on the 13th to the 15th of this month. Gentlemen, we want to say thank you for honoring our invitation. We are happy that we had you to discuss about what you want to do for our country, Liberia. Yeah, I focus on Liberia. This is what we do. We promote all things Liberia, and we were more than glad to have brought you in and to also promote your work. Mr. Jah.
Mr. Morweh, one last thing you didn't mention about money. People pay to be there, or is it free, this event? Both of you are muted, so we can hear you.
Oh, people are paying to go there because
you're
purchasing tickets.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, the tickets, and I think I stated that earlier, but I just forgot. I probably forgot to say that. Tickets are on sale at eventbrite.com, ALDC. You can purchase your ticket. Tickets is on sale for $125, I believe. Is that right? VIP is about $250.
Thank you. Miss Mene is going to be there performing, and she said, please, coronavirus time, don't come on stage to hug her, but you can. So that's something.
Oh yeah, by the way, yeah, that's one of Liberia's most celebrated culture artists, and she will be in the building. So if you haven't had the opportunity to see Miss Manan, this would be a great time for you to come out there and see Miss Manan. And what's his name? What's the gospel artist name again? Garcon. The gospel artist. What's his name? Take yourself off mute. You're on mute, bro. You still on mute.
Thank you.
David Mel.
David Mel. Thank you. Right. I'm sorry, David Mel. I forgot your name, but yeah. So they will be there. It will be fun time. Got meet some new faces, meet some people you've never met before, and let us fight for Mama Liberia. Bring it together.
Then there's Mose, who is a follower of our network. He wants to hear from us. He wants us to make a contribution. And openly here at Focus on Liberia, we want to say we will make our contribution to your work. And that is a fact. You can take it to the bank.
And that bank has money.
Plenty of money.
No mutilated banknotes.
No.
Yeah. You guys be careful now that when you say that, though, because people might take that against you and say you're now making market of government officials in Liberia.
Well, guys, we want to thank you. We want to thank you so much. Tomorrow's Thursday, join us at 7 o'clock for the Hour of Politics. My man Sunisia is going to be hosting some tough political cookies, and we'll be discussing the preparedness of the opposition for 2023. Then at 9 o'clock, Lady J is going to be here with our sex and relationship talk. On debate, on Friday, we're going to have our debate Friday. And guess what? The topic, standing on the promises of we are. So there are groups who believe that the president's promises are sure and true, some don't. So we're going to be having that debate on Friday. The title again, standing on the promises of we are. On Saturday, we're going to have our FOL Marketplace. That's our Business and Economic Forum. And we're going to be discussing real estate and investment 101. Then come Sunday, we're going to continue with our ethnicity series. How do we use ethnic factors for national development and reconciliation? Keep your dial set here at Focus on Liberia. What we do here is to elevate, to promote, and educate all things Liberia. We want to thank all of you, our panelists, for coming. Thank you to all our viewers, those who made comments. Sorry we couldn't read your comments because of the long list of callers, but we appreciate you. Continue to follow us, subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our Facebook page, and let's continue to make Mama Liberia proud. Until then, from all of us here at Focus on Liberia, we say good night and God bless you.